If you just roll over and pay them money, then you look like you were that abusive, crazy boss that they describe you as. But if you fight it and then, you go to court and the court says, oh no, these girls were crazy, then you kind of have your reputation back.
Hey guys, welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page. Make sure you drop a comment, like, subscribe.
Do all the fun things.
Follow
everything. We're here to entertain you guys.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up, let's go.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt out here in sunny and very, very hot California. Adam Glyn is on the other side of the country, and I'm guessing a super hot New York. What's it like out there, bud?
It's hot, it's humid, but it's great. I love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Don't stop. I love the hot weather. Bring it on, because the winters are just so brutal here in New York. Actually, you know what's so funny, Dax? I had a friend in town this past week, and I met
You don't have friends. Let me stop you there.
I have three, so bear with me. It's one of them. It was 1/3 of them. And so my friend's in town. I meet him in Union Square, which is like sort of central Manhattan. And we start to walk downtown, and we're going for a long walk. We were going to this one place for lunch, and I didn't want to take an Uber there. I just wanted to walk there with him. As we're walking, we get towards the Nolita East Village area. I run into a paparazzi, and he jumps out of his car. He's running. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, dude, Timothee, I was driving. I saw Timothee Chalamet. I've actually never saw Timothee Chalamet in person. So I sort of kind of gets a little creepy. I didn't run. I kind of moved in that direction because he was putting his car in position. I went and I just wanted to see him, Timothee Chalamet. He's one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. So I kind of stood next to him. And as he's walking, I could have walked right next to him. And then he went into a Foot Locker. And then I went in the Foot Locker and me and my friend acted like we were getting sneakers. And I just wanted to share, with my friend, we wanted to size up Timothee Chalamet. I wanted in my head to know, if I got into a fight with Timothee Chalamet, could I beat him up? The answer is probably yes. But he's tall.
That's a very weird way to think about it.
He's an interesting guy. He walks around Manhattan with a hat really low, sunglasses, and headphones. Always wearing headphones. So he's sort of easy to spot in that way because he always wears these big headphones. But I didn't talk to him. I didn't ask him for a photo. But I was hoping for, and this is what I do, whenever I see a good celebrity in Manhattan walking and I see paparazzi shooting, I walk up right next to them. And I stand right next to him, so I get in the shots. And then those photos get sent to an outlet saying, oh, there's Tobey Maguire walking with Hollywood Raw's Adam Glyn. It's just funny. It's such a funny way. It's just cool, weird photos. I have so many random paparazzi photos of me and celebrities, and it looks like we're together, but we're not actually together. I just know to stand next to them and then look at them and move my mouth, and it looks like we're talking.
Do you think that there was any truth to him and Kylie actually being together? Because that was the big story this week. And that's not on our rundown. But
it's not on our rundown. I don't even want to get into it because I don't even get into it because I don't even know how much they are together. I mean, I know they've hung out.
But there's not a single photo of them actually in the same frame together. I don't think that this was a real thing. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they just wanted to make it super private. But I can't see this one being real.
Yeah, I mean, Timothy's in New York a lot. That's where I think he takes, lives most of his time. I would know when Kylie's here for the most part, and I haven't seen her here in months. So I know they've hung out a few times. To what extent that relationship is, I really don't know. I don't even have a guess. I don't have any tips or insight on that. But no. So anyway, back to Timothee Chalamet. So after I see him, me and my buddy go to a lunch. We go into this restaurant, Gemma, which is right next door to the Bowery Hotel, which is a big celebrity hotel. The restaurant is empty, and they sit us at a table. Who's sitting at the table right next to us? So they had two tables with people sitting right next to each other. My table. Who's sitting at the other table was Damian Lewis, the actor Damian Lewis. Okay. And it was my friend who was like, dude, what is New York? This is so surreal that we're sitting, we just saw Timothee Chalamet. Now we're with Damian Lewis. And then me and my friend wanted to talk, but I kept shutting up my friend because I was just always trying to hear what Damian Lewis and his friend were talking about. Is that weird? Would you do the same thing?
I mean, I get it because I'm creepy like that to be like, oh, what are they talking about? What's interesting? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I was just very curious, like listening on their conversation. But my friend was like, "Dude, you really are like." In some ways, today it was such a weird day. We ran into two good-sized celebrities, within like 30 minutes of each other. It was just
I ran into the guys from AJR.
Dude, so you went to this concert. Wait, by the way, we're recording this right now on Thursday.
Does it count if I go to a concert? Is that running into them?
That's true. You love AJR.
I fucking love those guys. They're so good. I got to interview them once, and I interviewed them right at the height of like the skip to the good part, like music that was going viral on TikTok. It was like everyone was using that track. And so I got to interview them, and I used them in my video with that trend. And so they're just super cool, super down to earth. It was actually, though, their first concert performing live. Their dad passed away recently, like a month ago. They've got a new song out about Gary, their dad. So it was their first time. They took a month off. They wanted to like focus on family and all of that. And so they came out last night. And they just said, you know what, our dad would have wanted us to be here. And everyone in the audience was like choking up and like, oh God, because he was such a huge part of them touring. Like he was just part of the band, and so sad moment, but the guys are so cool. Like just really fun. My kids, it was their first concert. So my kids, I planned this out. So like 3 months ago when we got the tickets, my kids knew like, let's say 4 of their songs because I would play them all the time. But then what I started doing is doing the playlist, the AJR playlist every day or every other day in the house. So last night when we were at the concert, my kids were singing every song word for word. And it was freaking awesome. It was fun. It was a great concert.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good concert. And then we're recording this Thursday, which is your birthday. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you. My office right now, I know you can't see it. It is completely covered in confetti. They came and a couple of the employees just doused us with like confetti bombs.
That's great. That's very cool. All right, before we get to our Raw Rundown, which is the top 10 stories of the week, we read your reviews. Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
Oh, heck yeah, I do. All right, this comes from Mustang Sally P. 5 stars, Hollywood Raw, #1 podcast, 2023 is the title. It says, whether late at night or while basking in the sun, Hollywood Raw is my favorite podcast. I'm a pop culture junkie, and you guys keep me up to date. Love the Royal Rundown, top 10 stories. Adam, Dax, you're the best in the biz. Kudos for being #1 on Apple Podcasts in the USA. Mustang Sally in Colorado. Thank you, Sally. It's funny because at the time you wrote this, we were probably #1. We fluctuate, but we've been staying in the top 10. It's been really cool. You guys are keeping us like in the top 10 of entertainment news. And I could not thank you anymore because it's such a huge deal for us to be up there and ranking with all these other entertainment shows that we love. And it's just fun. It's like nice validation that we're not completely wasting time talking to each other every week.
Yeah. So if you can, for Dax's birthday, instead of sending him a card full of money, besides that, what you can do is you can leave us a review, whoever you, basically on the podcast app on your phone or computer.
On Apple Podcasts.
And go all the way to put in Hollywood Raw, go all the way to the bottom, say a few kind words, tell us where you're from, 5 stars, and we'll actually read your review live on air. All right, let's get to our Raw Rundown where we give you the top 10 stories of the week, starting with number 10.
Number 10, Post Malone revealing that he actually got engaged 2 years ago in Las Vegas, and no one knew this was the case, but he actually got turned down the first time because he was, quote unquote, too intoxicated. So he was on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which aired, I think, this Wednesday, and started talking about, oh yeah, I was down gambling. I had lost a significant amount of money at the table. We go upstairs. I'm off my rocker, just hammered. And I'm like, hey, you want to marry me? I got the ring and stuff. And she goes, yeah, no. She said, how about you ask me tomorrow? And he was like, all right. And then when he was sobered up the next day, or I don't know if it was next day, but when he got sobered up, he asked her, she said yes. And, since then they've had a child together, but no marriage as of yet. He did say, though, there will be a bunch of drinking anticipates at the wedding. You know, he's not a drinker himself. I don't know if he's sober or just maintaining a clean lifestyle. I'm not sure what
I don't
his
know
level
about
of
that.
sobriety is.
Yeah, I know he's in shape right now for him. But after this interview, they were like playing beer pong and stuff together.
Okay.
So I don't know what he considers like a healthy
So
life.
yeah,
I mean,
maybe he just was like, I needed to dial it back. You know what I'm saying? I think that was one thing that he goes, she came into his life and he now surrounds himself with healthier people. I think that's mental health. I think it's physical health. I think it's a little bit of everything. But she really like centers him and he is very appreciative of it. But they ended up having a baby, a little girl in May of last year. And it's funny how much we don't know about his personal life, him being such a huge star. It's hard to keep that stuff private.
It is. But it's funny. Like, do you know what Post Malone's wife or fiance? Do you know what she looks like?
No, I don't know her name. Like, there's no name there. We don't know what she looks like. We know nothing about her. And the fact that they were engaged 2 years ago, it's amazing that information is not out there.
Yeah, it's they're very private with that, which I respect. I've seen her before. I've seen her, and when she travels, she has. I mean, I saw her in New York because when she traveled in New York, she wasn't with him, and she was with the bodyguard. But yet again, paparazzi aren't really chasing Post Malone, so you don't have to really worry about that stuff as much. You know, like no one really.
Yeah,
it's not a worthy photo for paparazzi. Paparazzi need either news story or fashion. That's what they chase. So it's not the hardest thing to stay private because it's not that enticing. But Post Malone, great guy. I didn't listen to the whole interview, but good interview for Call Me Daddy. I always say one of the people on our Facebook group call me. I always call the podcast "Call Me Daddy" instead of "Call Her Daddy." I don't know. I don't even know what the podcast is called, but whatever. Good for Post Malone. Happy from good guy. Number 9.
Number 9, Leah Remini suing the Church of Scientology for harassment and defamation, a whole bunch of things. She announced she's filing against the church and David Miscavige. She did this on Wednesday. She basically put out her statement on X. It's really weird to see X on the platform formerly known as Twitter. So she's filing a lawsuit in the California Superior Court because of harassment, intimidation, surveillance, and defamation. She said she's faced this from the hands of Scientology for 17 years. She said this organization has attempted to silence her and many others who have spoken against it. And while this lawsuit is about what Scientology has done to me, I am one of the thousands of targets of Scientology over the past decades. So she's basically doing this because she's like, other people will not be able to do this, where she has the privilege, she has the money, she has the clout to get it out there, where Scientology will essentially squash anyone else. She says, people who share what I've experienced in Scientology and those who tell their stories and advocate for them should be free to do so without fearing retaliation from a cult with a tax exemption and billions in assets. So going up against the church is no easy feat here. But if there is going to be someone who does it, it's going to be her.
I forgot about, because it is a religion, they do get a tax benefit. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot here. Dax, you being in California, because as far as I know, in the tri-state area, I don't know how. I've seen the Scientology building in New York, but it's not like how it is in California. Have you, or do you know any Scientologists personally? Like, are you friends with any?
Ooh, that is a great question. No, I don't think I do know any Scientologists personally, but aren't they like not supposed to like hang out with, what are they called again? Not specs.
Pieces of shit.
What are people who are
like
not
us?
Scientologists? I forget what they're called, like SPs or something like that. No, I don't know anyone that's a Scientologist, which is weird. You would think being out here, you would know some people that are Scientologists, but I don't know anyone.
Yeah, like I know a guy who was into Kabbalah in here, but he was more, in my opinion, I think he was into it because it was like a scene. not as much as like the religion aspect to it. I think he was just more into like the Kabbalah scene. But Kabbalah is a little bit more different. Yeah,
You just want to be
exactly.
friends
Kabbalah is
with
a lot
Madonna?
different than, Scientology, which is Scientology is one of the hardest things to explain. But then it's also, I don't want them coming after this podcast or coming after me.
Let's move on.
Yeah, but you've been to the Scientology church, right? And you said, I love your story that you went to the Scientology church.
No, I've just only been on the outside. They don't let you in unless you're wanting to like check out Scientology. But I was on the outside because Katie was going into labor with Suri, and there was all these rumors that she was either going to have Suri at the Church of Scientology, the Celebrity Center, at UCLA Medical Center, or Cedar Sinai, and there was one other place. And so there were a couple of us kind of checking out the couple locations, and I happened to be the one at the Scientology Center waiting, and they knew I was there. They came out, they surrounded my car. There's all these people walking around in like khaki pants, and I want to say it was like blue button-up shirts. They kind of look like Helpful Honda people. And they're just like, that's their uniform, or at least it was their kind of like attire that they would walk around in. Maybe like Sea Org people, I don't know what it was. But yeah, they noticed me, and they immediately came up to my door, and they're like, you cannot be here. You need to get going immediately. I guess the whole place is just surrounded by cameras.
Yeah, I saw this. It was a TikTok of a guy who walked on the Scientology property, and there was like two security guys on bikes like following him. I mean, I wonder, those security guys must have stories too. The whole thing is just very, very interesting and crazy. It was a really fun TikTok.
I bet you have to be a Scientologist to be one of their security guards. I doubt they're hiring from outside companies.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to number 8.
Number 8, Erika Jayne is crediting Menopause for her weight loss, not Ozempic. How do you say it?
Ozempic.
Is that right? Ozempic?
Yeah,
okay.
You got it down.
Okay. Thank God. I looked at it and I was like, God damn, they're going to make fun of me here. Not Ozempic. She did it hormonally. So if you've seen any photos or videos or her on, Watch What Happens Live, Erika Jayne looks very different. She's lost a ton of weight. She's got this very chiseled jawline now. And so everyone's been kind of pointing at like, how are you losing all these pounds? And because Ozempic is like the thing to do right now in Hollywood, everyone's blaming that. And she said, no, I've started menopause. And so it's kind of throwing my body off. And so I am losing weight the naturally way. And it's all hormonally, which some people are not buying.
Yeah. I mean, she did this. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, you look at her, when you think of Ozempic, I don't think you would count out Erika Jayne from using it. However, she's defending. She's like, it wasn't Ozempic.
This would be the first time in history I've heard menopause is the cause of a bunch of weight loss. But I'm also not a doctor, so I could be totally wrong. And I'm sure I'll hear about it in the chat on our private Facebook page.
In our private Facebook group, now this is when the women speak up, and rightfully so. Do you lose weight on menopause? You let us know, because we don't know. We don't lose weight.
I've just never heard that. Like, that's never, like, you start to hear things as kind of like common knowledge, like, oh, breastfeeding, you lose weight breastfeeding. Like, that to me, I've never heard hormonal changes during menopause cause you to lose a bunch of weight, because then I feel like women would be very excited to go through menopause. They're like, I'm going to lose a ton of weight. That's not the case. You get hot flashes. There's other side effects of menopause. I've never heard the weight loss as a side effects of menopause.
Yeah, no, it's very weird. So if you're not in our Facebook group, our private Facebook group called Off the Record, it's a really, really great group where we all get to kind of talk Hollywood and entertainment news. I highly suggest you guys join it. But let us know, can you lose weight from menopause?
Thank you, by the way, to all the people giving me birthday shout outs, because I can't go through and thank everyone personally. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Okay, sorry.
Erika Jayne did look great, so I will say that. Yeah, that's it. Number 7.
Number 7. What is number 7?
Is Cardi B. Did you see this video?
It's Cardi B. So this was crazy. But Cardi B, if you have been living under a rock, you didn't see the video of her chucking a microphone at a fan during a Vegas concert. Well, now that fan has filed a police report going after her. So there's a lot of kind of conflicting back and forth. You know, obviously the big story here that everyone's been talking about over the last couple of weeks is the fact that everyone keeps throwing shit at celebrities or singers while they're performing. You know, you had the BB Rexa, you had who else? There was like so many people I feel like that got stuff chucked at them. Anyway, so she kind of like fought back. A drink gets thrown on her. She grabs her microphone, chucks it at the person. So everyone at the beginning was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, she's fighting back. Then it comes out that she was actually asking people, because she was hot, to throw like water on her. And so now the story gets a little confusing. Like, wait, you asked people to throw water on you, and then someone throws something on you, and then you chuck your microphone at them. So I don't know how I feel. At the first, I liked it, and now I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. When I saw the thing, she chucked the microphone. She's saying the microphone is worth money. I mean, I guess that's where they're trying to auction off the money. It was very like weird. I think the security was all surprised too, because they didn't see exactly what happened. So they moved on it very slow. We never saw a photo of the person. However, the person now is, I guess, pressing charges against Cardi. It's just a whole weird situation.
So here's the thing that we don't know. We don't know if the woman who is filed the police report is also the one that threw the drink. They could be two separate people. That part is not clear. Someone could have thrown the drink on her and she hit someone else with the microphone. I think that's one part of the story that is not quite sorted out yet. But that person who was pelted by her microphone was escorted out by security moments later. So this will continue to develop. People love when Cardi has to go to court. Remember, she shows up like looking all fashionable and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see it gets there, or if she just goes, here, take some money. I don't even want to have to deal with this crap.
Yeah, it's but
by the way, the other celebs that we're dealing with getting, stuff chucked at them, because I couldn't remember. I had the brain fart. Harry Styles, Drake, BB Rexa, and then I think Kelsey Ballerini also.
All right. Well, it's been the season of people getting shit thrown at them on stage. It's been a really fun concert season this past summer. It's been very unique.
And why? Why is that a trend suddenly? This was never a thing before. Why are people throwing shit? Stop throwing shit.
It's kind of corny and weird. It's just, at this point now, it's like, unless just keeps throwing bras. Bras are cool. Not stuff where like they leave a mark. Bras are funny. So you could donate them. So the bras that you send, you could donate those bras. So I think that's like giving back for the artist. Number 6.
Number 6, Tori Spelling spotted out living or staying in an RV at a campsite with her 5 kids. This comes after she was spotted kind of like living out of a $100 a night motel amid her divorce or split from Dean McDermott. So paparazzi got photos of her in this RV, and they're like, oh my God, she's living out of this RV and making it seem bad. To me, it looks like she took the family on a camping vacation. I mean, call me crazy, but it looks really nice. Like she's down by the beach. Like she's parked literally in a campsite overlooking the ocean. So I feel in this situation, they're making the story seem a lot crazier than it really is. Like, I know a lot of people that have rented an RV and gone away and stayed at a campsite for a week during the summer. So why is Tori Spelling get it? I don't know, but that's all it looks like to me, is she's just having a good vacation with the kids.
Yeah, I guess it's just the news. You could think of the motel to live in an RV. During a slow news time with the strike going on, you could make this into a story. However, you wonder if Tori, Dax, I wonder if you wonder if Tori was involved in making this story a reality, just for the storyline.
I wouldn't be surprised, because how they found her in an RV park down by the ocean is baffling to me. This seems like something that would need to really be tipped off about. And if she's getting a cut of these, Good for her. She's got to make money somehow, and so might as well tip them off. Say, give me 50% of anything that's made on these photos. Boom. And here's the one reason I'd say that might be true is in the paparazzi industry, if you want to sell photos, different outfits are very important. If someone wears the same outfit every day, it's much harder to sell that set of photos because people are like, well, we already saw them in that outfit. We've already seen them look like that. Like, we're not going to buy it. But if they put on a different shirt, if they have their hair different, instantly now you're like, okay, we haven't seen these ones, buy those photos. She's been out during this camping trip in numerous outfits. That to me is like such a good way to sell your photos is you keep changing up your outfit. People are going to keep buying all these photos. You're down by the beach. People want to know what's going on. So that would be the only thing that I would say to me screams there's some planning behind this.
Do you think Tori Spelling somehow or will end up on The Real Housewives?
I think that would be a great move for her.
I could see that happening. I think it'd be good for NBC. It's good for her. It's good money. I could see that happening. It's really everything that's going on in her life right now is very good storyline.
So this could be like a Kim Zolciak, like, look, I'm interesting, come hire me, because people are fascinated with my life. So putting me on The Real Housewives would be a good move for you. Listen, she'd be great. I think she'd be fun. You've got like Garcelle on there, and she was, she became famous being like an actress and all that stuff first, and Lisa Rinna. And so it would make sense. I would love to watch Tori. Tori's fascinating.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 5. No, it's not. It's Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon and Jim Toth settling their divorce 4 months after announcing their split. So it sounds like, from all the sources inside their camps and stuff, that they had really kind of planned this out over a very long time of dividing their assets, making sure everything is kind of in place before they even went public with it, because they were together for 12 years. They have a 10-year-old son, Tennessee, together, and so they kind of wanted to make sure this was all good before the world knew about it. They've got a parenting plan in place for their son. So I think this was, it may have been yucky behind the scenes, but I think all in all, they probably did a very good job because they're both worth a lot of money. Obviously, she is crazy loaded from her film career, her TV career. I mean, she's one of the highest paid women in entertainment in movies. She gets those $20 million paychecks per movie. Then she got like another crazy, like $20 million for the morning show. I mean, and then what is it? Big Little Lies or whatever the other one she does, where she also produces. I mean, she's just raking in cash. So I see that being a lengthy process, having to work through all those assets.
Yeah, I'm just curious where she goes from here. Like, I don't know, Reese Witherspoon, I just want to see who she ends up dating next. It could be very, very unique or interesting.
Do you remember when there was all these stories about her dating Tom Brady after his divorce? Like, she was the first one that everyone started saying, oh, Tom Brady and Reese Witherspoon. And then it seemed a little far-fetched. And then it was like, oh, Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian. And now it's none of those. It's, who was he dating again? Which model?
Well, he was married with Giselle. Oh, Tom. Oh, Irina Shayk.
There we go, Irina. So that one's the only one that seems like it's actually realistic.
Yeah, wild. Just the whole thing is just. I just want to see where she goes next. She's such like she just looks. She doesn't age. She just looks the same. So I'm just curious where she goes next with her next.
I feel like she could just switch in her daughter when she's ready. She just like, all right, tap her daughter in, and her daughter just kind of like takes over her career, like a reset. She's never aged.
Yeah, I see Ryan Reynolds out. Ryan Felipe out. I see him probably about a couple times. I see him every Super Bowl season. He always goes to the Super Bowl, and I've seen him out. I've talked to him. That guy, he could go for 23 years old. It's insane how young he looks, and he's not a tall guy, and he hangs out with his son and his friends, and he looks like it's like his friend crew. Like, it looks like they're all hanging out together, but that's his son and his friends. It's like, it's not odd. It's sort of nice, but very, very cool guy. Very nice. But yes, I would like Matt. Yeah, I just want to see who Reese ends up with. Number 4, Taylor Swift.
Oh, he is nice. I was waiting for you. All right, Taylor Swift. This is the most unbelievable story. It's gotten a lot of press, but coolest story probably of the week. Apparently, Taylor Swift has paid out over $55 million towards all the people in bonuses that are working on her Eras tour. We're talking backup dancers, we're talking cooks, we're talking security, we're talking truckers, we're talking everyone. I saw this story first pop up about her giving $100,000 bonuses to all the people who are carting around her gear, all the truckers that are taking it across the country from state to state to state. She went and just said, like, surprise, here's $100,000. Well, apparently that was just the tip of the iceberg because there's 50 of them. So she dropped, $5 million just on the trucking. But then we're finding out that the levels of bonuses are different between like backup dancers and chefs and creative people. Like, it's all over the place. But $55 million is what she is reportedly giving out to all the people. And listen, if she ends up raking in $1 billion for this tour, she'll walk away with, $750 million or whatever it is. 55 million of that is a drop in the bucket for her. And think about all the goodwill, think about the good press, think about all of that she walks away with.
So how much do you think those guys actually take home at the end of the day with all this going on? Let's say a guy works a tour. I don't know how much you even get paid working on a tour, but what are your thoughts? Let's kind of go through the numbers.
Wait, are you asking before the bonus, like how much they're getting to
after, but before we're total
stuff, or are you wanting to know post bonus?
Post bonus, what are these guys walking away with? Roughly, what would be your guess?
I have no idea. Let's assume the drivers make $60,000 a year. I have no idea. I don't know what a driver makes. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Let's say they make 60 and then she just went and bonused them 100. So they're walking away with, 160 for something that they didn't think they were going to get that much. And they were still, doing the job. I think it's just, I just think this thing is so cool. I love this story.
Cool, but also at the end of the day, great PR. And also you could have done it and not told anybody and not go to the press with it.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll tell you one thing. How do you have another tour after this? Everyone's going to be like, oh, I want to work the Taylor Swift tour because she's going to bonus money. Like, now you can't have another tour that you don't give away a shit ton of money. Like, she's now in a position where she will always have to bonus out crazy amounts of money, or then she looks like a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird, but again, there's so much cash flow going on there. She's making so much money. It's fine. It's fine. Like, she can afford it. She's making so much money. All right, let's go on to number 3.
Number 3, we've got one of the former bachelorettes, Gabby Windey, shares that she is now dating a woman. She was on she was on season 19 of the show. And I think that was the year that it was like her and someone else on the show. Anyway, basically she went on to Instagram, revealed that she is with comedian Robbie Huffman, and said, this was the only thing that she posted on was, told you I'm a girl's girl. And then, of course, a lot of people started responding to her. Ben Higgins said, well, son of a biscuit, this is a real beautiful, congrats, Gabby. Caitlin Bristow wrote on there. A lot of just like the Bachelor franchise people were all really supportive towards what she was doing, or her announcement. And it's just a fun little story. There you go.
I don't know, man. It's just, I was asking people, and other people thought they saw like, hey, she could possibly be interested in women. I think it's just more like, you didn't have to go on The View for the announcement. You could have just lived your life and no one would have asked. You could have just posted some photos and just let it come out.
No, I disagree with I disagree with you. I feel like she was a part of one of the biggest franchises out there. But not only that, the franchise is based on her love life and based on who she's dating. And I think if she doesn't acknowledge that, I think there's going to be a lot of questions and confusion and stuff. I think just for this. Like if she was on another TV show that had nothing to do with her love life, I think that she doesn't have to say it. But because she was a bachelorette, I think that she does have to go, hey guys, that was one part of my life. This is a new part of my life. I'm starting a new chapter. I'm just clarifying that I didn't take everyone down one street and trick them. You know what I'm saying?
Here's just in the back of my mind, I just get very grossed out by a lot of these people, especially on The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. I just, that whole nature of that show really just kind of grosses me out because majority of them don't work after the show. They go into it for some sort of other kind of position. And they could say they went on the show for love, but let's be real. They went on the show to be fulfilled in another way, whether it's fame or to become some sort of influencer. I'd say do you want to know the truth? One of the biggest assholes I met in the last few years was Matt James,
really?
Who was The Bachelor. Yeah, the guy just sucked. I have no problem saying that. The guy just sucked. And then I follow him on social media, and it doesn't help out too, because I'm like, yeah, this guy is just a gross influencer. And it's not like I hate all influencers, but to me, I don't know, just when you're willing to sell your soul for this kind of business, it just bothers me a little bit. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's me just venting. Sorry for you guys. I had to get that off my chest.
Well, I'm glad we were able to take the weight of the world off your chest, Adam.
Thank you, Dax. Number 2, Lizzo. What's going on with Lizzo?
Lizzo, she's got a bunch of ex-dancers really upset at her and suing her, saying that she was just a nightmare behind the scenes. Basically, there are now 3 of her former backup dancers who are suing her for what they claim were awful conditions on the job. She was named as a defendant in the new lawsuit, and basically it's against her and her touring company between 2001 and 2023, when they claim that they were either unjustly fired or forced to resign due to unbearable circumstances. They basically say that they got to meet her through her Amazon reality show, Watch Out for the Big Girls, and after making the cut, they alleged that they were subjected to a number of California workplace violations, several of which amounted to sexual harassment, false imprisonment, and interference with prospective economic advantage, among other claims. The accusations were hurled in just a few different directions, including some aimed at a number of Lizzo's management team, but it pertains to her specifically. She's being accused by these women of basically holding them hostage in a number of situations. They cite 2 different instances where they were on the road in Europe earlier in the year, and they claim that she subjected them to attend nude shows in Amsterdam and Paris. And it was clearly they were not into it. They felt very uncomfortable. And anyway, so they're going off on her, and she basically has responded. And she's like, "Oh, give me a break. These women were not good employees. They were told numerous times that they were not good, and they were let go. And now this is just a way to hurt my reputation and squeeze some money out of me."
So let me ask you this, Dax. When a story like this comes out, I'm sure Lizzo knows this is going to come out, and that the plaintiffs, the people that are suing, first approach her before it goes public and say, "Listen, we're going to file a lawsuit against you. Do you want to settle with us or not?" And they go for it. Fuck it, go for it. And once it goes public, it becomes public record, becomes a big news story. And then Lizzo responds because she says, "Forget it, I'm just not going to pay you." Is that exactly what's going on?
I think that Lizzo, she definitely knew about it, and she partnered up with Marty Singer, who is one of the biggest lawyers in Hollywood, who has represented frickin' everyone under the sun, and said, "No, I want to fight this," because that's the way that you regain your reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to fight. If you just roll over and pay them money, then you look like you were that abusive, crazy boss that they describe you as. But if you fight it and then, you go to court and the court says, "Oh no, these girls were crazy," then you kind of have your reputation back. So I think that's the road that she is choosing. There is a video that surfaced of one of these women just praising her after the timestamp that she is alleging that Lizzo was bad to her. She's praising her and saying, "Oh, I love Lizzo. She's the queen. Like, I want to strive to be like her. And so it's very confusing where you're going, wait, so if she was treating you so shitty, why are you just praising this woman on camera?
Yeah. I think Johnny Depp was the first one who really said, don't apologize, like, don't just pay him, just kind of go after him. And I think that's, we're going to start seeing more of these people not paying these people in court. It's not paying these people so it doesn't go to court. They're like, you know what? I'm going to make this and turn this into kind of publicity for me. And I think this is, I don't know if this is good publicity for Lizzo or bad publicity, but there is no such thing as bad publicity at some point. So I don't think I don't think something like this is going to affect Lizzo's career, but
unless you're Chris Brown or, Bill Cosby, they might argue that there is bad publicity out there.
Well, that's true. But do you think right now, this lawsuit that came out today and everything that's going on, it's going to would it affect you personally, Dax, your views of Lizzo?
No. It affected Ellen big time.
Ellen. I don't know.
Big time.
But Ellen was never sued, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure Ellen was never sued.
No, she wasn't sued, but it looked bad. I guess the suing does add another element where you start to question people and their ethics or their goal or motive. Because once there's money involved, you're like, wait, are you just saying this shit because you want money? Whereas if you just go out and talk about someone and say what a bad boss they were or how awful they are, but there's no money behind it, people start to believe you a little bit more.
Yeah. All right, Dax, the number one story of the week. It's not really a great one, but we got to speak about it. Number one story of the week.
Yeah, this one's sad, but Euphoria star Angus Cloud passed away at the age of 25. This was a huge shocker. Obviously, Euphoria, massive show, and made Angus really a big star. But they, I guess they found him in his family's home in Oakland, California on Monday. And then his family actually released a statement to People magazine that said it is with the heaviest of heart that we had to say goodbye to an incredible human today. And then went on to say, as an artist, a friend, a brother, and a son, Angus was special to all of us in so many ways. And then they went on to basically note that, his father was buried last week, and the actor was basically struggling with his loss. So I think that they basically said he took his life without actually saying he took his life, is how I interpreted all of that. They said the only comfort we have is knowing that Angus is now reunited with his dad, who is his best friend. Angus was open about his battle with mental health, and we hope that his passing can be a reminder to others that they're not alone and they should not fight on their own in silence. So that to me all seems like he took his own life, unfortunately. Just sad. So many opportunities, so much life ahead of him, and to have him gone at the age of 25 is just heartbreaking.
I mean, that's a kid. That's a kid. I met him once during Fashion Week, a little less than a year ago. He was what you saw on the show was how he was. He was he was a unique guy. He was a little, I wouldn't say he was strange, because he was being, what is strange? I guess something was off in a way. And I'm sure he was a nice guy. He wasn't bad, but it was just like, he was sort of like, it was a big party he was invited to, and he kind of kept to the side. And then when there was a party going, there was like a concert going on, he went outside and hung out outside, didn't even go in for the show, and was like hanging out at a food truck. It was like very odd behavior from him.
I think I've seen that a couple times, though, with people who get really famous really quickly and they have kind of some social anxiety, and they don't know how to interact in a place where everyone wants to talk to them. Everyone wants a picture with them. And they're just like, I don't really want to be here, but I kind of have to be here, or I'm paid to be here. And it's awkward. It's awkward for these people that their passion is acting, not entertaining. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense. But that is our top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, put a few comments in. It always helps out with us on the charts. If you're listening to go to, like we said before, go to the iTunes, the podcast application on your phone and on Apple, and just kind of leave us a review. It's all in the bottom. Happy birthday to Dax. He's
Thank
now
you.
19 years old. He's 19. Now he can buy recreational marijuana in a few select states. Thank you guys for listening. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We have a private Facebook group. Did I say thank you for listening on Instagram? I don't even know what I'm saying now. Ron, we have a private Facebook group called Off the Record, which we always plug it. Join it. It's a really fun community. And I'm Adam Glyn. That's Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.